Coming up, we're going to take a closer look at how Americans think the new president is doing since taking office.
President of Ipsos Public Affairs will join us to take a look at what the latest numbers reveal when we come back. Okay, so we heard him talk about it during the race for the White House, but what do the latest poll numbers say about the president?
Well, let's find out. Cliff Young is president of Ipsos Public Affairs. He's here to help us break down the numbers. Hello there. How are you?
Hello. It's great to be back.
Good to have you back. Great. All right. Let's start with approval rating. It's early, it's March, but a lot has happened in these early weeks of the administration. How is President Trump's approval rating?
Well, it feels like 2 years, not too much.
I know, right?
It really does.
I would put it sort of generally that Americans overall are cautiously optimistic still about Trump. A lot of the chatter, a lot of the debate going on in the Beltway in Washington, they're not really paying attention to. And all things considered, his numbers are pretty good. He's about 45%, which for him is a good place to be right now.
Mm-hmm. What is it, you know, good place to be, but what does it compare to like when he first took office? I mean, do we see it fluctuating from that point?
We're seeing it fluctuating a little bit at the margins, but he's really holding steady. It's sort of steady Eddie at this point. Mm-hmm. That suggests that really people are waiting. They're giving him the benefit of the doubt, and they're really waiting on his policies to have impact. What they're really focused on are jobs and the economy at this point.
Yeah.
Now, is this typical early in an administration? Did we see similar numbers with President Obama or President Bush?
Well, yes. Trump, though, is at historic low numbers compared to his predecessors. They were either in the 50s or the 60s. He starts at a lower base, but we know it was a plurality election. He didn't win with a majority of the population. But given that, he's in a pretty good place. And like I said, people are willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. They know it takes time to roll out policies and have those policy impacts in their daily lives. And they're waiting and watching.
And speaking of that, healthcare is something we're waiting and watching on. And that, I understand, is still kind of the top issue at this point, you would say, with the people you polled?
Well, it's become the top issue.
Yeah.
Now, overall, the agenda has always been domestic. People are worried about bread and butter issues. They're less worried at this point about terrorism and foreign policy. But they were really focused on jobs and the economy during the elections. But over the last few months, healthcare has ticked up, and they're super concerned about that. When you look more specifically, kind of peel away the onion, and ask people about what do you think about the Republican plan, the Trump plan, they're unsure. Only about 33% think it will improve their lives. Obviously, more Republicans think that, but there's a lot of undecideds. There's about a third of the population is not quite sure how that initiative is going to affect their lives.
Because we don't even know quite what the initiative
We don't know the details,
details,
nor do we know the impacts of it.
How it'll wind up. Let's talk about, you know, one of the things that pollsters typically talk about is if Americans think we're going in the right direction. Do you have a sense of where those numbers stand? Yeah,
we're basically in the same sort of negative place. Over the last maybe 5-6 years, only about a third of Americans think that actually we're on the right track. We obviously have more Republicans. A majority of Republicans believe we're going the right track, but a majority of Democrats and independents don't think that. They think we're headed in the wrong track. Really a polarized society. Now, juxtapose that, put that beside how people feel about their day-to-day lives and the economy. They actually feel pretty good. When we look at consumer confidence polls, we have one, we've done one at Ipsos since 2001. We're at the highest point in that series, the highest point in 15 years. So people are thinking like this: I feel okay about my life day to day. I feel like it can make ends meet, but I don't know about America. I don't know where it's going. And that's how they're seeing the world. And indeed, that's why Trump won. Because a majority or near majority of Americans were thinking, well, let's shake things up because I don't feel comfortable about where America's going.
Yeah, and overall, taking a look at the numbers that we have just talked about, where do you think things are kind of trending, I guess, with the people that you've polled? I mean, are we going in a good direction, bad direction? I mean, have you seen this type of trend before?
Yeah, I think, you know, usually over the course of administration, the first year, the numbers tend to decline. That's just the way it is. When you start making choices, some people get angry, right, or upset. But I actually think the numbers will be pretty flatlined over the course of this year. He has no fat. He burned off all the fat beforehand. He didn't have that honeymoon effect. But that said, he is talking to his base. He is, at least in the short term, delivering on what stuff they want them to deliver on, and the economy's doing well. And the economy is always the trump card.
No,
So to speak.
So to speak.
No pun intended.
It's Trump's trump card, right?
You planned that, I know.
No, I did not actually. No. But Trump's trump card. So.
All right.
Cliff Young, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All right.